Hey everyone, JVD here from the Villains Man, bringing you another comic book review over Invincible Iron Man, Civil War II, issues 12 through 14. Like some of the Civil War stuff I've been reviewing, this is not a miniseries. This is actually tied into the ongoing Iron Man series, and it is the end of this series, of this volume. So, and it's going to continue on with Riri Williams as Iron Man. And then they're going to branch off with another ongoing series with Victor Von Doom being the infamous Iron Man. So I'm curious to see where all that's going to go. I'm not really big on reading the Riri Williams stuff, but it ties into the Invincible Iron Man storyline, so I'm going to read it. Bendis is writing it. He's writing both of them, I believe, so I will read both of them. The book kind of starts off. There's not a whole lot to spoil here before I start, because spoilers obviously be the big thing. The guys here in the Villains Man are like, oh, don't do spoils. Warn people of spoilers. Not a lot here to spoil. I'm going to assume this book takes place around Civil War II, issue 2, where after Tony had already been to Attila and took Ulysses, and the Inhumans come after him, because Karnak mentions that he'll bring the whole building down. And then here we see Tony Stark sitting at a destroyed Stark Tower. And I'm not really sure where this happened at. You don't really see in the book. You see in Civil War II, you had seen them bust in to Stark's tower where he's got Ulysses came, but you never really see the building come down. So I thought that was kind of weird. But that's where this book takes place. And there's a lot of flashbacks to the stuff that's happened. There's a lot of flashbacks with Riri Williams where he meets her and she talks about, that she needs an AI to help her control her suit that she's built. Mom's against it. Tony's like, you don't understand. So there's a lot of that going on. The main thing that this book gets to, and I think it's really good, is Tony's going nuts over everything, and he's talking to MJ, who now works for him. He's talking about he needs a meeting. And if you know anything about Tony Stark, you go all the way back to the Demon in the Bottle story, Tony used to be a huge alcoholic. And meetings are his way to calm himself when things are bad, to help him get back focused on the right track. And so he goes to a meeting, and they're pulling some up, and he's trying not to go to one. Carol Danvers, a.k.a. Captain Marvel, a.k.a. Miss Marvel, a.k.a. Warbird, a.k.a. Binary, are going to, because she, too, has been an alcoholic. And at times they would go to these together. And now, he doesn't want to step on her toes because they're at odds due to Ulysses. So he goes to a meeting, and he's kind of being, keeps to himself, hat pulled low, but looks pretty grumpy. And then all of a sudden someone starts talking. He looks up and it's Carol. And they're almost dressed the exact same way. And she kind of relates her story to what is going on. Her, being an alcoholic and whatnot. And Tony gets up and leaves. Carol realizes it's him. She chases him out. And they sit outside and they have a talk about, what's going on. And it's very friendly. It doesn't turn to violent. It gets a little heated. And it's really good to, see these two sit down. It kind of reminds me of in the original Civil War story. And through all this, you're seeing a lot of similarities, I guess, which is good. Because my thing about Civil War is, the original Civil War is after that had happened. I wish it would have lingered on a lot longer than what it did. And to me, that's Marvel's problem. With all these epic events they go on, they don't let anything sit. They really rush through them, and every year something major's going on. And this kind of stuck in a while, the original Civil War, until War Hulk happened the following year. Yeah. So, but there's a lot of similarities between stories in the original Civil War and the Civil War II. And this kind of reminds me of the Casualty of War one-shot from the original Civil War, where Tony and Cap meet in private. And, there's no... It's strained, but they're trying to talk they're trying to talk things through and figure out how they got to the point that they got, and trying to get each other to understand their point of view and why they see things the way they do. And this is the exact same thing here with Carol and Tony. And but unlike the Casualties of War, where Tony and Cap kind of sling the shield, drop the armor, and there's a fist fight between them, you don't really get that, even though you kind of feel that it's going to. Basically, even Tony brings this up, Captain America's always right. You cannot really go against Captain America. Carol's not having it. And it's the whole, she wants to change the future, Tony wants to protect the future. And it really pushes that on. And it's really nice to see them here in the element that puts them at their lowest and still try to come to terms. Because that's just showing you that, hey, if both of us can push through our problems in the past as alcoholics, maybe we can, push through this together. But they can't because they're so different at this time after, kind of being on the same page for years now as Avengers. So, like I said, there's not a lot to spoil here, but there's a lot to be said just in that issue. And by the end of this issue, it kind of wraps up with the end of Civil War II, where Tony's biological mom shows up to Stark Tower, Amanda Armstrong, and to meet with Tony. Tony's in a coma, supposedly. So we'll see where all this plays out, and if Tony ever returns, which we all know he will, because nothing ever sticks in comic books. But I'm JVD. This has been my review for Invincible, Iron Man, Civil War II. Keep reading, guys.